Welcome to Officer Cops. In this video, we delve into the realms of bicycle laws, resisting an officer, and the subsequent repercussions. On the 11th of October, 2022, numerous officers from the City of La Crosse Police Department endeavored to intercept Heaton Steen, a 27-year-old individual, as he navigated the streets of La Crosse, Wisconsin, on a bicycle. The ensuing footage has been captured through the lenses of the officers' body cameras.
You ain't gonna win, buddy. There's more cars coming. What do you guys want? Stop the thing. You have a bike light out. It's just a bike light, you idiot. You want to get bit? I'll send them right now. Running. That's all it needs. You want to get bit? You have no bike light. There's an ordinance for that. All you are is looking at tickets. If I have to get out and chase you, you go to jail automatically. Because you don't have a bike light and you ain't stopping for police. Why does it have to go to this dude? Why does it? Because you won't stop. You're the one making the decision, not me. But you need to stop when a cop asks you to stop. Says who? Says the law. Name the law. Obstructing. 94641, Param 1. Obstructing me on my way home. That's because you don't have a light on your bike.
The officer notifies Mr. Steen that the reason for the stop is the absence of a light on his bicycle. However, Mr. Steen persists in cycling, contending that the street lights provide sufficient illumination. As per Section 346.02 of the Wisconsin statutes, individuals riding bicycles on roadways or highway shoulders are bound by the same responsibilities as vehicle operators, barring provisions exclusively applicable to motor vehicles or inherently irrelevant to bicycles. Moreover, Section 340.01 of the Wisconsin statutes defines vehicle as any device for transportation on a highway, explicitly encompassing bicycles. The statute for bicycles emphasizes their categorization as a type of vehicle, permitting officers to execute standard traffic stops based on probable cause. Section 347.489 of the Wisconsin statutes specifies that operating a bicycle during darkness necessitates a lamp-emitting white light. Consequently, the officer probably had the authority to stop Mr. Steen from biking without proper illumination. Moving on, Section 346.04 of the Wisconsin statutes asserts that individuals must comply with lawful orders from traffic officers and vehicle operators. Upon receiving a visible or audible signal to stop, must promptly do so. The 2016 case of State v. Weber, decided by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, affirmed law enforcement's probable cause to arrest an individual for violating this statute when he failed to pull over after a deputy activated emergency lights and ignored verbal calls to stop. In the present scenario, Mr. Steen acknowledged that the officer engaged in verbal exchanges, yet persistently refused to stop. Given this, a court would likely determine that Mr. Steen consciously resisted the officer's directives to halt, aligning with the precedent set in State v. Weber.
On the ground. Get on the ground. On the ground. Get on the ground. I didn't do right now. Get on the ground. On your face.
Why don't you listen to it?
Why don't you guys listen? I didn't do anything.
I already explained it to you.
Oh, I didn't have a bike light?
All right, chill the out. My arm hurts.
Stop resisting that.
Please stop. Power hungry cops always trying to with somebody.
Guess what? If you would have just pulled over, it wouldn't have gone
Guess
this way,
what?
right?
If you just off and let me go home, it wouldn't be. None of us would have this problem.
Okay. Are you injured?
Yes.
Okay. What hurts?
My shoulder. What do you think?
Okay. Well, we got an ambulance coming.
You good?
No, my shoulder's.
Oh, we're gonna look at it.
All right. What's your name?
None of your business.
All right. Well, you can just go to jail.
For what?
For resisting now.
How do you figure?
How do you figure? Because you didn't stop. I got out of my
I
car.
don't need to stop.
Yes,
I wasn't doing anything.
The only thing I was going to do is stop you and write you a warning for not having a bike
A
light.
warning for not having a bike. Really? You have nothing better to be doing.
Nope, this is the best as it gets.
What's your name? Do you have an ID on you? In your pocket? We're gonna have to search you anyways. Is it in there?
I don't answer questions.
All right.
Alright, get up.
Easy on the shoulder. You'll laugh too when you ain't finding nothing that you obviously seem to think you're finding.
No, I'm just going to search you before you go to jail is all.
Go to jail for what?
Resisting, possibly causing injury now.
Oh, causing injury?
Yeah, the other officer needs medical attention.
Oh,
too,
and he needs medical attention for
Yeah,
what?
I
Does he have
don't know.
asthma?
I haven't talked to him.
The officer communicates to Mr. Steen that the reason for the stop is the absence of a light on his bicycle. However, Mr. Stein persists in cycling, asserting that the ambient street lights provide ample visibility. As outlined in Section 346.02 of the Wisconsin statutes, individuals riding bicycles on roadways or highway shoulders are obligated to adhere to the same responsibilities as vehicle operators, excluding provisions explicitly applicable to motor vehicles or inherently irrelevant to bicycles. Additionally, Section 340.01 of the Wisconsin statutes defines a vehicle as any apparatus for transportation on a highway, explicitly encompassing bicycles. The definition of bicycle within the statute explicitly categorizes bicycles as a type of vehicle. Consequently, officers have the authority to conduct routine traffic stops on bicycles with probable cause. According to Section 347.489 of the Wisconsin statute, operating a bicycle during darkness on a highway, sidewalk, bicycle lane, or per cycleway necessitates the bicycle being equipped with a lamp emitting white light, or the operator must be wearing such a lamp. Is the officer likely to have the authority to stop Mr. Steen from biking without proper illumination? Furthermore, Section 346.04 of the Wisconsin statutes stipulates that individuals must comply with lawful orders, signals, or directions from traffic officers. Additionally, it states that no vehicle operator, upon receiving a visible or audible signal to stop from an officer, shall knowingly resist by failing to stop as promptly as safety reasonably permits. In the 2016 case of State v. Weber, the Wisconsin Supreme Court determined that law enforcement had probable cause to arrest an individual for violating the statute when he failed to pull over after a deputy activated emergency lights and ignored verbal calls to stop. In the current scenario, Mr. Steen, despite looking back at the officer and verbally responding multiple times, persisted in refusing to stop. Consequently, a court would likely conclude that Mr. Stein knowingly resisted the officer's directives to stop, aligning with the precedent set in State v. Weber.
Down, please. I'm not going anywhere, obviously.
Your name's Keaton?
What's it say on the ID? Sorry. Why did you choose to be a cop? May I ask that? You feel like you're doing like good for the greater good or something? Like what?
I don't know. Why do you choose to run from the police? Do you feel like you're
because
doing
I don't
good?
trust the police. Look at all the people getting shot by police for walking.
Oh yeah, just for walking?
Yeah, just for walking.
Don't even have any warrants, bonds, anything.
Exactly.
And you decided to run. That was pretty stupid,
because I had no
wasn't it?
reason not to.
You had no reason not to?
Yeah, meaning
you just had every reason to just hop out and say, hey, what's going on? I would have wrote you your warning.
Because
you would have been on your way.
again, I don't with cops. I have no quarrel with y'all motherfuckers, and y'all shouldn't have any with me.
I don't have any with you.
You do, apparently?
No, yes,
this is all you.
You refuse to obey a lawful
because
command.
Because who the are you? I go give a less if you got a badge or not, dude. You ain't no better than me.
I never said I was
You're
better
not my
than you.
father or my mom.
Well, I'm glad because I'd be pretty disappointed.
You know what? Know what the that was like, dude. So yourself. What's your name?
Lebrecht.
Get bent. I just got sacked off my bike.
Is your shoulder dislocated?
You shouldn't have tackled me.
Is it dislocated?
I didn't do it to him, and I'm gonna catch a charge for it.
Yep. Well, this whole situation could have been avoided.
Yeah,
if you
this
just
whole situation could have been avoided. You could have been out doing something worth the time.
I told you this is as good as it gets, bro.
This is as good as it gets. Somebody on a bike.
Yep.
Find a new job. Can I please ride with you? You're like the only one who's been cool. I'm sorry for like whatever.
No,
you really can't transport. Really?
No, I mean he's making the arrest.
It's not a felony charge, right?
It is a felony charge.
Are you serious, dude? You realize how badly that me, right?
Well, I'm not the one that chose to run from the police.
Yeah, whoever I swear to God, if this charge doesn't get dropped.
Upon learning of the felony charge he faces, Mr. Stein expresses concern, asserting that a felony conviction would significantly detriment his life. Indeed, felony convictions, distinct from misdemeanors, often carry more severe consequences, extending beyond longer prison sentences and higher fines. These repercussions, commonly referred to as collateral consequences, exert a substantial and enduring impact on the daily lives of those convicted, even after serving their sentences. As documented by the National Inventory of Collateral Consequences of Conviction, these legal and regulatory restrictions can impede access to employment, business and occupational licensing, housing, voting, education, and various other rights, benefits, and opportunities. The American Bar Association's Collateral Consequences of Criminal Convictions Judicial Bench Book notes that collateral consequences may encompass ineligibility for public benefits, such as food stamps and government-sponsored student loans and grants, along with disqualification from providing foster care to family members. In Wisconsin, individuals undergoing any portion of a felony sentence, including extended supervision, probation, or parole, are ineligible to vote. Upon completing the sentence, re-registration is required to restore voting rights, unlike individuals serving misdemeanor sentences who maintain their eligibility to vote. Wisconsin law prohibits those with felony convictions from possessing firearms and holding public office, and restoration of these rights requires a pardon. Employers in Wisconsin have limitations on considering an applicant's conviction record, but convictions substantially related to employment may lead to refusal of employment. Occupational licenses may similarly be denied or revoked based on convictions related to the licensed activity, and specific licenses may be denied or terminated for individuals convicted of any felony offense. Given the stringent collateral consequences linked with a felony conviction, Mr. Steen's assertion that the officer's decision to pursue a felony charge would have a more detrimental impact on his life than a misdemeanor charge is likely accurate.
You don't land on your bike. Congratulations, now you're f***ed. Because you didn't step or anything you didn't step. Are you the one that said that about if you were my dad, you'd be disappointed too?
I just said I'd be disappointed if I was your parents.
Well,
yes.
that's not... I didn't ask for your opinion as far as that's concerned. It's pretty f***ed up.
Okay, well,
You should be very careful what you say to people. You don't know their situation or their story.
You're right, I don't. I apologize.
Thanks. They really f***ed up my right side too.
What's that?
Feels like my kidney's leaking or something.
Okay, well, we're going to the hospital, so they'll check you out down there and make sure everything...
After Mr. Steen's arrest, the injured officer was taken to a local hospital and diagnosed with a separated shoulder. Subsequently, Mr. Stein underwent a medical assessment before being transported to the La Crosse County Jail. He faced charges of felony resisting an officer, causing substantial bodily harm or soft tissue injury, misdemeanor disorderly conduct, and operating a bicycle without lights during dark hours. As of the date of this episode, these charges against Mr. Stein remain pending. While they maintained a professional and respectful demeanor during the interaction and likely operated within the confines of their legal authority, there are reservations about the necessity of tackling Mr. Stein off his bicycle, especially considering the situation stemmed from a simple traffic violation. Both the officer and Mr. Stein claimed injuries during the use of force. However, courts consistently assert that officers are not obligated to choose the least intrusive means, and given Mr. Stein's repeated refusal to stop, a court may deem tacking him to prevent his escape as not unreasonable or excessive under the Fourth Amendment. Disagreement arises with the officer's decision to pursue a felony resisting causing injury charge against Mr. Steen, based on somewhat tenuous legal grounds. The charge is rooted in the officer's shoulder injury resulting from tackling Mr. Steen. While Mr. Steen's flight was a contributing factor to the injury, his intent to physically harm anyone seems improbable. The decision to charge him with a felony offense may be viewed as vindictive. Despite this, the officers did not blatantly violate constitutional rights and appeared to operate within their authority throughout the video. Mr. Stein received an F grade for repeatedly refusing to stop during a lawful traffic stop, potentially violating state eluding and resisting statutes, and maintaining a disrespectful and defiant demeanor throughout the encounter. His refusal to comply stems from a lack of respect for law enforcement officers, although the law mandates compliance in specific situations. Acknowledging Mr. Stein's concerns about the perceived triviality of the offense, the law permits officers to stop and, in some cases, arrest individuals for minor infractions like the lack of a bicycle light. It is suggested that Mr. Stein reconsider his blanket refusal to recognize police commands he deems unreasonable to avoid future encounters of a similar nature. Viewers are encouraged to suggest interactions or legal topics to discussion in the comments. Thank you for watching.